The Survivor Series is done. That is in the past, and WWE had a Raw follow-up show, I guess we can call it. And while WWE loves doing this after War Games, they go, that's a big cage match, don't worry about it. We've got other stories to tell. If we are just taking this Raw in the context it was presented to us, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I had a good time, and it actually got me pumped about a few things that haven't been very good in 2025, so maybe they've rectified that for 2026. Also, hello, if you are brand new, I'm Simon Miller. If you're thinking, what the hell is this? I'm also a pro wrestler. I mean, the best thing you can do is go to hookedonwrestling.com and watch Progress's last show from November, whatever the flub it was, last Sunday, the Sunday just gone, November the 30th, and you can see what happened. I got into a big old fight, but also, when you are here, please do subscribe and all those kind of things as well. Otherwise, I'm just going to ignore it, and let's not pretend it doesn't look kind of cool. Not that I'm a cool guy. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's chat wrestling. And my favourite thing about all of this, and if you have watched my content before, you'll know how into it I am, which is a funny old way to say it, is the women's tag team division got a massive spotlight shone on it. And WWE absolutely should be doing this right now, because look at the people involved, right? Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, brilliant. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, excellent. The Kabuki Warriors, brilliant. Bayley and Lyra, brilliant. The Judgment Day, brilliant. These are people that know exactly what they are doing. And while some of them eventually are going to have to go back into the singles division to go after the women's title, we don't have to worry about that. There's no rush. Wrestling goes on forever. And I think a lot of people right now, they aren't being protected, so to speak, but they are benefited by being with somebody else just so we can reset their characters and tell different kind of stories. And that's basically what this whole episode of Raw is about in terms of the start and the finish. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky come out. They're calling themselves Rio. So if you went really quiet, you could hear some nerd go, you can't do that, because people can't handle it. And I'm a nerd too. Let's not pretend otherwise. Charlotte and Alexa then come out. They get into a big old argument about who should be going after these women's tag team titles. Even though they were friends at the War Games, that's the main event. Why Adam Pearce didn't have a main event before the start of Raw, we'll never know, but that's just the way it goes. Then you get to that match. I thought the match was excellent. Not going to worry about the one wibbly-wobbly bit when they kind of fell in the corner. Again, you're allowed to criticize and hate and like whatever you into. I'm not saying that. But as a man that wrestles, I can tell you firsthand, sometimes things go wrong, but I did everything right. So, if it affects the match, I think it's a talking point. But here it didn't. It was a great main event. The only issue was that it did end with the Kabuki Warriors running in. I wouldn't have done that. I think getting a very proper winner and loser here actually would have benefited the show. And in terms of Triple H saying, oh my gosh, you're going to get an epic episode of Raw, which it was, I also think that would have made you go, well, that's interesting, because WWE kind of wasn't tempted by the shenanigans. I was disappointed in the wrong way. Not a massive deal, not something we have to overly talk about, but that's what I would have done. But the cool thing was, they come in, then Bayley and Lyra are here. Then you do get Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez. You also got the title thing with Liv Morgan, because it was the Judgment Day standing tall. And even though Liv was still the tag team champion when Roxanne Perez flew in, after Morgan did get injured, Liv handed the belt back to Roxy. So we've already started to tease that, of course, Liv and Dom are going to go off on their own journey eventually and abandon the Judgment Day. And that's when Roxanne and Raquel can do whatever the flub they want. But that's how Raw ended, with 4, 5, 6, 7, I'm making it up now, teams, all of whom could be the tag team champions. Every time WWE actually leads into this belt, the people that have the championships pull home runs, and we've done it again. Now, I'm worried they're going to vanish, because that has happened at least 3 times, but in terms of this night, home run. And I know the relationship between Bayley and Lyra is a little bit weird. At first, it seemed destined to fall apart, and now we've kind of just forgotten about that. Bayley's not that weird anymore, even though Adam Pearce was like, oh, you feeling okay, Bayley? Not going to go crazy. And why Lyra wouldn't be going after the IC title now, it's a little bit of a plot hole, I give you that. But because they're great workers and because they do have a good chemistry, injecting them into this, man, I am so damn pumped. I really am. And it's made those belts feel like they're massively important. It doesn't hurt that Asuka and Kairi Sane have them, especially Asuka, man. Ever since she's come back, you can't make an argument that she's not one of the best wrestlers of the modern day, no matter what the promotion or male, female, anything like that. She is absolutely top draw, and it's just got me excited. And everybody has their kind of beef here, and then you have the Liv Morgan thing on top. Now, Liv Morgan actually got on Stephanie Vaquer's face, so I don't think Liv Morgan's all of a sudden going to go after these tag team championships. I think that's why we did the thing at the end, which I massively appreciated. And yes, a small negative for me is that Stephanie Vaquer got 2 minutes of backstage promo time to talk about her feud with Nikki Bella, and that's when Liv just walked in and was like, oh, hi. It's a nice tease, and I do think that should be the feud. I think we should get there by the Royal Rumble. I just want Stephanie Vaquer to get more time. And anytime I do say this, people are like, well, she's still learning English and stuff, but she does such a great job with it. As she cut a promo here, it made me want her to win, and I have the sympathy that a babyface requires. So it's not like we have to get worried about that. I just think you want to do it in front of the people. And that Nikki Bella feud was so quickly done, and Nikki Bella wasn't even on this show. I don't know. You wouldn't do that with another world champion, right? Cody Rhodes, I'm sure it has happened, but by and large, and I think this is usually the way with this Raw title especially, I just think we should showcase it better. It's not a big deal. It didn't affect the show. I just think Stephanie Vaquer is better than maybe some people realize, because we all know how good she is. I don't get it. It's just very, very interesting. However, if she is about to go into a promo with Liv Morgan, who is just one of the best characters, makes Raw feel better, right? That's how good Liv is, which is kind of funny because a couple of years ago, people were like, oh man, Liv Morgan, she doesn't get it. She totally gets it. The payoff down the line is going to be good. All of this ruled, like it really, really did. It bookended the show, and it was sort of slap bang in the middle too. And of course, you had the big Judgment Day reunion promo, which was also another tease. Liv Morgan was like, you guys have sucked since I've been away. As we panned into Finn Balor, who was just like having a terrible day. Not having a good time. And Dom and Liv essentially told you, well, we had to come up with our plan because we knew the Judgment Day plan wasn't going to work against John Cena. And Dominic went on about the whole John Cena thing. Dominic Mysterio should talk about this to the end of time. It should be 2032, whether he's a world champion or a tag team champion or IC champion. He should still be going, by the way, smoke on your cigar. I'm the guy that beat John Cena on his last PLE, and bravo to Big Match John for doing it. I think it's going to give him the world of good. But yes, no notes for any of this, even though I just gave you a bunch of notes. So much fun to watch. Making those championships feels important. Making Liv Morgan's return feel important. Making Dominic Mysterio feel more important because he got that win. It's brilliant. It really was. Great stuff. As was the John Cena tournament, to see who was going to win John Cena. I started saying that on ups and downs. Some people messaged me going, don't win John Cena, Simon. I was like, I'm aware. I'm aware. We're going to talk about the Bron Breakker promo in a minute as well. That's something else somebody said to me. No, he was just channeling Scott Steiner. I was like, yes, I do watch wrestling, but thank you. I do appreciate it. But I really like this tournament. Like, I really, really do. I think it was a bit weird at first with no brackets. But ever since we got to the quarters, I suppose, mainly the semi-finals, Solo Sikoa versus Gunther is a match I never thought I'd see. And bless WWE for giving me a heel versus heel match, because this is the way to do it, right? The story is, well, they're in a tournament together. And of course, face-heel dynamic is always better, but I don't want it to be all the time. That'd be boring. And it was exactly the same with Jey Uso versus LA Knight on the other end of the spectrum. I was like, anybody could win. I presume Gunther was going to win, but you could have given it to Solo. Like, he's had an amazing year in terms of where he's been placed on the card. And Jey Uso was my favorite, just because I thought we were going to rerun back Jey Uso versus Gunther, which we're not doing. It is LA Knight versus Gunther, and once again, while I think Gunther is going to win on SmackDown, that's not a lock to me at all as I push this close, because I accidentally just opened up my stupid scar tape that I have to wear. LA Knight can win and nobody would be mad, and Gunther could be win and nobody could be mad. John Cena versus LA Knight is a last match, really interesting. Gunther versus John Cena last match, really interesting. I think these are two good picks. Somebody will go, but LA Knight's 43 years old. I don't care about age. I said this in the video yesterday. I watch to be entertained. Somebody could be 76. As long as I'm enjoying what they're doing on television, long may you continue. They have to build new stars, and we should talk about that, but that's also on WWE. I can't waste all my time worrying what they're going to do from a business perspective. I'll be bored. But the finish to LA Knight versus Jey Uso, the surprise roll-up after the splash, loved it. And all the shenanigans with Talatonga, even though it was dumb because the referee seemed perfectly fine with this. Watching Gunther donkey kick him and then just wham, Solo in the balls going, oh well, what are you going to do before you hit it with the bomb of power? I think just like to protect Solo, and that makes me happy because I think Solo Sikoa is one of the most underrated people on the roster. That man is entertainment personified, and hopefully we lead into his goofy stuff more. But there's not much else to say about it. Two really good matches, and I think WWE has sold that final to a big enough degree that if SmackDown doesn't have more interest in it, I would be surprised, and if nothing else, I genuinely look forward to seeing it. Let's talk Bron Breakker, though, who may have actually been the shining star on this episode of Raw. He had to cut that big promo. We all expected him to cut it after he turned on Seth Rollins, and I still think that's fair criticism. But after the Division had come to the ring and gone, yeah, we won the War Games, we gave the mic to Bron because we'd also set up Punk versus Bron for that first Raw in 2026, given that it was Bron Breakker that pinned Punk in the War Games. Good booking right there. Cut the promo of his life. He had fire. Yes, he sounded like a Steiner. He called Punk a soft-ass bitch. He was talking about he didn't care who the masked man was at Survivor Series War Games. Nothing to do with him. Told a story about, I think this was real because he delivered it with too much pizzazz and too much power. Then at WrestleMania, Punk had said, well, I guess I should thank you very much, but let's see if you can cut a promo, kid. He's like, here's my promo. Now I'm going to break your neck and take your title. And he threw the mic on the floor. And let's not forget that Bron Breakker can be funny too, right? We've seen that, especially in NXT. So he can bring those tidbits into it as well. He squeaks like any good Scott Steiner should do. Any good Steiner should do. And because he's so intimidating, it works. It's unique. It's different. I don't think he could have hit a bigger home run, right? I thought this was tremendous. I thought it was awesome. It convinced me that he should win on January the 6th. I don't think that would affect Punk at all because CM Punk is a massive star. Probably then CM Punk wins it back at the WrestleMania, but we talked about that on yesterday's video as well, if that is the direction we are going to go in. In terms of handing somebody a ball and telling your audience 2026 is going to be a year of Bron Breakker, you wouldn't be able to argue it now. I mean, he's been awesome all year in terms of in-ring. Even if his on promos did fall down the toilet, Paul Heyman's right there, but he doesn't need him. This rule, this is brilliant. And of course, the caveat also is that Adam Pearce found Paul Heyman, was like, who's the masked man? And Paul Heyman said he doesn't know. Now, of course, he does know. But WWE are turning it into a long-term storyline, which makes it doubly as exciting, because it could be Santos Escobar, it could be Austin Theory, but now it could be a Chris Jericho, because Chris Jericho is contracted to AEW, I believe, through December. So WWE can have some patience, especially through the Christmas month, and then reveal it as Jericho, maybe in the Royal Rumble or something like that. That would be cool. Or maybe it's Seth Rollins. Like, the subplot is Adam Pearce heard that Seth Rollins was hanging out at Survivor Series playing Nintendo. Now, it wasn't actually Seth Rollins, like literally, he's genuinely injured. He wouldn't be able to climb that cage. It's wrestling. You can still argue he was under the hood because it didn't have any mannerisms or facial features that were able to get out there. And people say, oh, it's definitely this guy. It could have just been an extra, some random person that you picked, and then the reveal can be whatever. We did it with the Black Scorpion back in WCW. Don't copy that, but that was the idea. We'll figure out later on. And I would presume that WWE does know, but I admire their patience, which is a dumb way to say it, but I thought they would reveal it on this Raw just because why not? We'll get it out there. But now, something to be excited about, and Adam Pearce has become Scooby-Doo. He's got detectives on the case, so we'll get clues. I'm starting to think it is Chris Jericho, because now I think you can leave massive hints, like when CM Punk came back to AEW. They didn't tell you, but they told you. Maybe we can do that with Chris Jericho. Maybe I'm living in Nerdland. All of this was really, really good. I will say, not the biggest fan of Logan Paul in the Vision. I think that's just me. He's going to have a match with Rey Mysterio, I think, to determine the number one contender for the IC title. Rey should win. I just love Rey Mysterio. And Logan Paul winds me up. But again, we've talked about it on other videos. It's not like he doesn't know what he's doing. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't want to keep repeating myself. But what a hell of a night for Bron Breakker. I mean, it was absolutely tremendous, and I'm pumped to see what he can do. And I'm excited about the tag team titles. Finally, the men's one. The Raw tag team title scene been pretty pants in 2026. I think everybody would admit that. Even when JD McDonough and Finn Balor had the belts, who were brilliant, by the way, just never defended them. They went 105 days with doing nothing. And out of sight does become out of mind. But here you had AJ Styles and Dragon Lee taking on the New Day. Great match. The New Day continue to remind you they're their best. So does AJ. So does Dragon Lee. Incredible finish when we did the pop-up stomp thing. But this time it went into the Stars Clash instead of a powerbomb as Dragon Lee did a dive. And they're taking on the War Raiders next week. Like, it kind of does suck. The War Raiders have to come back from the abyss. Like, where have they been? Just chilling out. But if that's the teams that we have, you know how I feel about this, and it's boring. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Merge the tag team titles, then get Fraxim involved in this, get DIY involved in this, the Machine Guns and everybody else. And the Wyatts too, that would be interesting. I think then you really can just stretch this tag team division as far as you want. But in terms of doing a 180 and turning it around, this was way better than what we've seen, which has been a bit pants, just because nothing happens. And that's why the women's one was so good, because that's been way better. Obviously, the Charlotte Alexa reign was good, into the Kabuki Warriors, now into this. And we can easily do that with the men's as well. It's not that hard. So I'll keep my fingers crossed there. But yeah, really, really good. Really, really great. And then, of course, is everything with Jey Uso. I didn't talk about this very much earlier on, but after he lost to LA Knight, he flipped his lid. He destroyed the ringside area, he went crazy. Jackie Redmond then wound him up, go tell me some stuff, Jey Uso. And he told her to go away and that Roman Reigns was right. Maybe he does look better with the World Championships on him. I think he'll screw LA Knight on SmackDown. I think that's how Gunther will win the John Cena tournament. I think we'll do that feud, which of course we teased back in the summer. We'll explain why we got a clean hit win here as well, which I also like. Does Jey Uso go properly heel? Potentially. Maybe it's more of a shades of grey. Didn't see Jimmy Uso, which was injured, and CM Punk was announced as not being cleared too from the War Games. Drew McIntyre, Brock just didn't bother to turn up. But I really like this with Jey Uso. Now, of course, if you live on the internet, you know there is a loud discourse against him. I do not get that. I don't care that he yeeted in the middle of the War Games. It's WWE. They always do stuff like this. I'm surprised anybody was surprised by it. But I think his character's been interesting since the summer, this LA Knight feud. He has been showing shades of grey. He has been showing attitude. He has been showing edge. Not Adam Copeland, he went to AEW. If WWE can successfully transition him into whatever the flub they want, yes, he'll be a damn interesting character in 2026. I think necessarily have to go full heel with him because people still very much enjoy his entrance. But if they're going to take the risk to take that away from the fans before they get bored of it, which they will, man, I will salute WWE to the cows come home, because that is something they used to be very good at. Oh, we don't want it to wear thin in 2 months. We wanted to take it away now, so it still feels special by the time we get back round to it. And why not give Jey Uso a heel run? Like, why not? There's no reason not to. He is in an upper mid-card position, I would say. So you have all this other stuff going on around him that can balance it out if it doesn't work. But that was good as well. Like, it really, really was, and it got me excited about it, which is another reason why Raw was so good. There was nothing sort of major. Nobody came back or anything like that. And there was no big reveal of the Batman dude. But every single thing that we did with the individual characters, especially those that you consider superstars, made you go, well, I wonder what they're going to do next. And you kind of got a big wink, wink, nudge, nudge about the John Cena tournament. So yes, if you want to sit down and watch this episode of Raw, you absolutely should. And I actually think it will give you the energy to continue on through the rest of the year. I know a lot of people in December just go, I'm going to chill out from wrestling because not a lot of interesting stuff happens, which is totally fair. I think everybody does need a break. If you stumbled on this Raw, though, I think it would at least make you tune into next week's, and that's all the show ever needs to be. Did it get you enough to go, you know what, in 7 days you could have my time again? I'd absolutely say yes. It was way better than I was expecting, and Triple H was right? It's going to be an epic show. I think it pretty much was. Now, I'm sure I've forgotten something. People always go, you didn't talk about this, but that's why I do the freelance work for What Culture, ups and downs, where we literally go things through beat by beat. This is just meant to be having a lovely little chat, and maybe it wasn't lovely. I don't know. But you can let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the wrestling today. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. My chat about the WrestleMania 42 proposed main event is on the screen now. I do think there's a lot we can get into, so please check that out. Also, talk about the eye. Otherwise, like the video, share the video, subscribe. Grillermind.com/Simon. Use the code Simon. That's where you get cheap fitness supplements that I do use. Patreon.com/Simon316 for my watch-alongs. Watching a bunch of stuff at the moment, and I find it fun. Hopefully you do too. Simon316. Come give me a follow for my ego, and then it's TikTok for my silly videos. If you are watching this on the 2nd of December, I will have put the Raw ones up today, where we do produce the promos and basically make WWE skits way worse than they deserve to be. Same with Cameo. Come get a holiday shout-out. ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller. Otherwise, I genuinely appreciate you. We are coming to the close of 2025, so thank you for all support for another 12 months, which is totally nuts. See you soon.